Oh, hello, and welcome to Cooking with Good Looking. I'm your host, Eddie P, and I'm so happy to have you tuning in. This evening, we're going to make basil pesto. Basil pesto is a real easy dish to make. It's very versatile, so we're going to get cracking. You're going to get yourself some basil. Basil sold hydroponically, like such. You may find it in little packets as well. The best part is this time of year you can grow it in your garden, which really is the best way to do basil. If you don't have a garden, you can even grow it in a flower pot planter right on your windowsill. Easy, and you've got beautiful herbs all summer long. So, if you've got yourself a food processor, you want to break that out. This is the old handy dandy Cuisinart Prep 7. One of my favorite tools, Cuisinart Prep 7. It's better than 6, not as good as 8. Cuisinart 7. So, we're going to get 2 large cloves of garlic. We're just going to peel those garlic cloves. Just hit it with the side of the knife again. Take all the peel off, skin off, whatever you want to call it. Okay. We're going to throw our garlic cloves in there. Now we're going to start to work with the basil. Just want to tear whatever's easier. We're going to cut our basil like so. You want to get a lot of the stem off. You don't want to have some of that ruddy stem, but if you do get some in there, it's okay. It's not going to be the worst thing. Now this particular dish, basil pesto, this has a special place in my heart. You know, as a young boy in the summertime, my grandma would say, "Hey, you're good looking. What do you want me making you for lunch?" I'd say, because that's what you say when, you know, you're a little kid. And she'd say, "Come on, you needed to eat. How about I go to the garden and I make us some basil pesto?" I said, "Grandma, that sounds great." So, ever since that day, I've had a love affair with basil pesto, because she'd go down to the garden, tiny little feet would take her out into the garden, and those little hands would pick the basil, and she'd say, "You giving me a 10-minute? I'm making you the best of lunch you ever had today." I said, "Okay, sounds good, Grandma." Well, we've got our basil cleaned. We've got that in our Cuisinart Prep 7. Once again, better than 6, not as good as 8. Cuisinart Prep 7. To that, we're going to add some Parmesan cheese. If you followed along earlier on, you can use Romano cheese, Pecorino Romano. You can use Locatelli. I'm currently unemployed, so I'm using Highland Crest Parmesan cheese. I think the cellulose helps to make this actually better. So we're going to just eyeball that. And I'm going to say we got about a quarter cup of cheese in there. Extra virgin olive oil. And again, we're just going to eyeball that. We're going to start off with a quarter cup of extra virgin olive oil. Then here we stop to take a little sip. This is so nice. Thank you for tuning in. I see some names popping up there. Also, I want to thank everybody for liking the page, Cooking with Good Looking. Thank you. Thanks for liking it. Thanks for taking the time, once again, to indulge me in my idiocy. So I appreciate it. Where the page is headed, I don't know, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So keep tuning in and see where we go with this. You want to grab some walnuts. Looks like a quarter cup of walnuts also. You can use peanuts. Like I said, if you're bougie, you can use pine nuts. But at $10.99 a pound, or not even $10.99 a pound, like $10.99 an ounce, I'd stay away from the pine nuts. A couple of tricks here. I like to throw in some Italian parsley into the basil pesto. Okay. Also, if you want to sneak in some veggies, some green veggies, it helps out. I've got some baby spinach laying around we're going to throw in. Because pesto you can make with spinach. You can make pesto with arugula. You can make pesto with watercress. That's the neat thing about it. Also, too, it's going to hold up. After we make it, I'm going to tell you what we can do with it, but let's get back to making it. I'm going to throw a little bit more olive oil in there just because we added a bit more green. I'm going to put our lid. And we're just going to fire up the Cuisinart Prep 7. Once again, it's not as good as 8, but it's better than 6. Cuisinart Prep 7. It's your favorite tool. So we buzz that up a bit. Let me get a spoon so I can kind of show you the consistency of what we're looking for. You want it to be a paste, but you want to get a nice little sheen. That's almost perfect right there. I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt. Okay, there's some people that do like to put a little bit of lemon in there. I did have half a lemon laying around, so we're just going to squeeze a little lemon in there just to give it some more brightness. We're going to be serving this pesto tonight over some rotini pasta with some grilled chicken. Back when I was a little boy, and my grandma would make the pesto, she would make it with spaghetti and some salsicce. I'd make you some salsicce too, okay? Okay, Grandma, you make whatever you want. I'm hungry. So, we're gonna put it over rotini pasta. We've got our pesto made. If you don't use the pesto right away, don't worry, put it in your fridge, it'll hold up. If you got one of those old-fashioned ice cube trays, a neat thing to do is make a bunch of pesto. This is really helpful, especially too at the end of the growing season. Take your basil, chop it down, make a big batch of pesto, and put it individually into the ice cube trays. Freeze it, and then when you need some pesto for dinner or just to add to a recipe, pop out a cube, let it melt down, and you've got pesto, hopefully all year long. Basil, again, it's hardy, it grows well. Basil pesto, it's one of my favorite dishes. I'm gonna bring that close to you guys so you can see. That's what we're working with, okay? So I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you learned something tonight. As usual, wash your hands, wear a mask, be kind to one another, because it is stressful out there, and it is going to get more stressful as we move along in this process. So be kind to one another. Not a blender drink. The blender is always broken, okay? I'm a bartender. Blender's always broken. We've got a little reposado tequila tonight. Friends, I'll see you again. When? I don't know, but I will. So until then, be kind to one another. Eat well. Cheers.